Okay, this is lesson 3.1 and 3.2 of the video. I want you to look at these words, and if you recognize these words, like these 4 words, I want you to nod your head. Nod your head. Okay, so linear regression, line of best fit, linear regression equation, correlation coefficient. Let's just see if you can figure out which one is which. Which one is the equation that best fits, that describes the best fit, the line of best fit? What is it? Good, linear regression equation. By the way, while we're here, and if you're waiting for us to catch up, then other people to catch up, then make sure to put your name on there. So for example, if your name is Early Light, you'd put Early Light on there.
Is your name Early Light?
It's not. Okay. Then significant digits. Have you talked about significant digits in science?
No.
It's basically talking about how accurate you want the numbers, what decimal you have to round to. Does that make a little bit more sense? So decimal digits that carry meaning contributing to a number's precision are called significant digits. And then what models the relationship between any 2 variables in a data set by producing the line of best fit? Which one of these produces the line of best fit? Linear regression. Nice work. Okay. And then what is a line that best approximate, Aiden? Line of best fit. And the last one must be what? Correlation coefficient. Okay. Did you get all that? Okay. Then I want you to look at number 2 when you're done writing those things. Look at number 2, and I want you to describe to me or to people who maybe were not here during this time, how do you do this? How would you do number 2? First step. Number 2, look at number 2. What's the first step to do number 2? Look at number 2. What number should you be looking at?
Number 2.
Number 2. Okay. So what would the first step be to do a problem like this? To make create a regression equation? What do you do?
Get out your calculator.
Get out your calculator. You don't actually have to do that right now. What would we change these things to?
1, 2, 3.
So we're going to change it to, I would change it to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? And then I would push stat, and then I would put this into list 1, list 2, and then let your calculate figure out the lin reg. Do you guys remember doing lin reg?
Yes.
Do you remember doing this stuff? I want you to turn to the person next to you, and if you remember doing this stuff, say, I remember doing this stuff.
I remember.
Okay, and then I want you to do this. I want you to take the first page, and I want you to rip it out, turn it in, just the first page, and since we have already done all this part and tested on it, I want you to rip out the rest of 3.1 and recycle it. These are the notes, so these are the 3.2 notes. If you are watching this video later, you can pause the video and start writing these things down, and then you'll be able to get all of it, and it's not going to go away. These are the 2 things that we're going to talk about today, is the standard form and the slope-intercept form of a line, and they all relate to really real-world things. So this standard form of a line is something that you would use if you were talking about, for example, if we were to sell hot chocolate and cookies, yum, right? If we were to sell hot chocolate and cookies, then, and let's just say that X was what we called hot chocolate, and then A would be how much we charged for the hot chocolate. Then B is how much we charged for the cookies, and then Y would be the cookies, and then C would be the total amount that we would earn. Does that make sense? The slope-intercept form would be, it's the same thing, it's the same line. B means how much we started out with. It's our starting amount. It's the starting amount or starting point, and it's also called the y-intercept since it's the slope-intercept form. M we know is the slope, but it's also how much it would change by. So like, if we were to talk about how much money we earn altogether, then it would be based on like however much we charge per cup or something like that. Okay, the next part is this. So these are the next parts. This thing that says EX, for example, I'm actually going to just do it all over again. So we're going to go like that. And yes, do you guys see my dinosaurs? They're glorious, aren't they? Okay, so right, taking those notes, and now we're on page 313. We're gonna come back and fill in more of the stuff about with the zeros and the y-intercepts and x-intercepts. But we're gonna start with this. So the standard form, slope form, just put the word notes here. And by the way, while we're at it, once again, put your name on your paper. In fact, if you want to put what period you were in, this was filmed during B4, then you can put that on there. The date would be great too. So this is talking about, there are two things you need to do on this lesson, so on this part. So the first part is to define variables. I want you guys to circle that and then put a 1 by it. So step 1, define the variables. Step 2, write an expression, which means that if you do not do one of those, you only have half of what you were supposed to do on the problem. So a farmer's market sells apples for 75 cents per pound and oranges for $89 per pound. Write an expression to represent the total amount the farmer's market can earn selling apples and oranges. And so they decided to call apples A for pounds of apples. And then B, pounds of oranges. I don't know why they picked B, probably because O looks too much like 0. And then they just did this, 0.75A plus 0.89B, and then you're done, and that's all you do. And that's all you do for all of these 1 through 6. So let me do number 2 with you. Have you guys ever bought school pictures? Like you have the 2 sizes, like you have there's the big one where people can see you on the wall and be like, what a champion student. I never had to use those. Or the small ones that you can give to your grandparents or something like that, and then they end up framing it, and then you go to their house and you're like, why am I on your wall? So so we get to pick. We're gonna start by defining variables. I'm gonna call the 8 by 10 prints, I'm gonna call them B for bigger prints, is the 8 by 10 prints. Notice what I'm putting here is what they are, not how much they cost. So B is the 8 by 10 prints. And then I'm going to call L for the little ones, the 3 by 5 prints. Please remember that I'm recording this. And so then it would be $4.99 per big print plus $1.99 for the little prints. And that's all you do.
Why is B not capitalized?
Because I didn't feel like it. Okay, so do you guys know what, and by the way, on number 3, this says this word. Do you know what this word is right here? It's a matinee. That means a movie that you watch or a show that you watch before 6 p.m. And it's cheaper. So you need to do, I've done 1 with you. You need to do, if you're in honors, you need to do 3 more. If you're in regular, you need to do 2 more.
Well, there's
What is the only difference now on number 7 versus what we just did?
You put an equal sign.
There's an equal sign, and that's all you do.
All right.
So let's do number 12 because 12. No, not on these yet.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
Link,
that's
no.
like the
Actually,
next
it'll be kind of.
Yeah, see, look, I can see on number 13.
Yeah, kind of. Ling is selling jewelry at a craft fair. She sells earrings for $5 each and bracelets for $7 each. She hopes to earn $300 during the fair. Please remember again that I am recording. Write an equation to represent the total amount Ling would like to earn during the fair. So I'm going to say E is for earrings. And then B is for bracelets. And then I would say 5E plus 7B is equal to 300, and that is all you do. So you need to do 3 more of those. Honors. 2 more for regular. Hey, the Basketball Booster Club, which would be a club to earn money for basketball, runs the concession stand. Do you know what the concession stand is?
Yes.
It's like where they sell hamburgers and hot dogs. And what do you know? They sell hamburgers for $2.50 and hot dogs for $1.50 each. They hope to earn $900 during the tournament. Look at this. They gave you the equation. Oh, wasn't that nice? And use this equation to determine each unknown variable value. So they tell us that. So what does the B stand for again?
Where's the hot?
What does the B stand for? Burgers. I'm just going to put burgers. We know that they're hamburgers, but just for the sake of remembering, H stands for hot dogs.
I want a hamburger now.
So they said that the hamburgers was 315, so you put it in place of that B. They plugged it in, they divided by 1.5, and then they wrote a sentence. So we're going to do one of them like that. We're going to do number 14 and then 16. So here's number 14. First, we start out by writing the original equation. What should we write out first? The original equation. So 2.50b plus 1.50h is equal to 900. So this is the equation that they gave us in that story problem. And then they tell us that if the Booster Club sells 420 hot dogs, so then we're going to put 420 in for the hot dogs. So we're going to have 2.50b plus 1.50 times by 420 equals 900. And then we need to solve for b. So in order to do that, we're going to have to do 1.5 times by 420. What is that?
A number.
Probably.
Perfect. 630
Next.
is equal to 900. Please be quiet while we're recording this. And then we want to find b. So what's the next step to find b? Not yet. So we're going to minus 630. Minus 630. So then we have 250b is equal to 270. Last step.
Divide by 2.5.
Good job. 2.5 divided by 2.5. So then b equals?
10.
108. Okay. So then then you need to answer this. They said, how many hamburgers must they sell to reach their goal? So we're going to say they must sell 108 hamburgers. Please be quiet. To reach their goal. There. So you plug it in. Plug one of the numbers, plug the number that they gave you in for either H or B, and then solve for the number the letter or the variable that you don't know yet, and then put that in a sentence. So number 16, we're going to be on number 16. What number? 16. So not 15, we're skipping over 15. And we're going to do the same thing. So start out by writing the equation down. I'm just going to write 2.5 because 2.50 is the same thing as 2.5. Plus 1.5h is equal to 900. And it says 0 hamburgers, so that's going to go in for the burgers. So if I add 2.5 times by 0, what is that 2.5 times by 0 equal to? Yeah, it's just 0. So it's as if it wasn't even there, right?
What did we do on number 15?
We didn't do anything on number 15.
Oh, okay, I thought we did number.
Okay, so now we want to find h. What's the last thing we have to do to find h?
You have to divide
By
1.5.
1.5. So h equals, if they don't sell any hamburgers, how many hot dogs do they have to sell?
Is it 425?
It's actually 600.
Oh, I was.
So they must sell 600 hot dogs
Yes.
to reach their goal. Okay. So I've done 2 of these. If you're at honors, you're going to finish this. If you're in regular, you're going to do 2 more.